The stuff written down for Canelo.
Hello, everybody. This is Boxing Bros UK. I'm his Chris. And this is my co-host Andrew, the Boxing Brain.
Hi, Chris.
Today's topic is we're going to do fight review of the Canelo fight and a little bit about the Canelo card, and then we're probably going to do a little bit about what's next for Canelo legacy and like what the fuck is he doing. Like, what's going on with him?
Yeah.
But we'll start with the Caleb Plant fight because I don't really watch that fight. So I'll let you do this one, Andrew. Take it away.
Yeah, it was all right. I think mccummby kind of potentially going down as the worst mullet and moustache in boxing history. I'm not sure. Depending on whether you like that look or not, you might very well say the best. But had quite an interesting look, didn't he, mccummby? But Plant, he's an interesting character in boxing, Chris, isn't he? He seems to have beef with everybody. He's always running his mouth, but he can back it up in the ring, to be fair.
Yeah.
And
to be fair, he backs it up in the ring and out the ring.
Yeah, I do. He's a bit of a character. Like, he's a bit Marmite. I think you either hate him or love him. I don't think there's much in between with him. But he got put down, didn't he? Got put down to a body shot, if memory serves me. Got hit to the body. mccummby can punch him it, and I think Plant then switched on, and he then started doing some really good inside work. Was putting his shots together well. And then stopped mccummby. He was out of it on the ropes.
Yeah.
But yeah, did what he needed to do. But fair play to mccummby, Chris. He did come to fight. He had to go. He come with a little bit of a reputation. But this was a big step up fighting Plant. But he had a right go, and we can never, as fans, we can never complain at that, Chris, can't we? Like, he did try and have a go. So
it's all about the heart. So what's next for Plant for you?
Oh God! Well, he's obviously said because I think he got the interim title now, so
yeah,
he obviously wants that Canelo rematch. I'm pretty sure he alluded to that.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. We don't want to see that.
We're not for Plant. I understand it. But for Canelo, it's we'll get onto that later. But I don't know really. Like there's plenty of good guys, isn't there, in and around super middleweight. Where does he kind of go from there? I don't know. Where does he go for you, Chris? Then?
For me, he won't get the fight because obviously Benavidez is campaigning at light heavy now. But try and get the Avenger lost against Benavidez, or I don't know. They're just being good, competitive super middleweight fights against other top contenders. Because obviously, Canelo's got all the belts. Yeah, fight Munguia, fight Berlanga.
Yeah, Berlanga.
They've got a bit of beef. Them two should have a fight.
Actually, Berlanga's not a bad shout actually for Caleb Plant. And that would be an interesting marker because if Plant can stop him. And we'll get into that in a minute, but I think Berlanga didn't want to get knocked out, especially after beer. But we'll get into that. Yeah. But it's not a bad shout. One of those guys, someone who can punch a bit, who can maybe stick it on him, who fancies it. Because I think a lot of these guys are just before they get in the ring with Canelo, are sort of beat before they've got in the ring. So not a bad shout.
Right, Berlanga, that'll be a good fight. Yeah, well, that's all he can do until Canelo retires, or we don't want to see him fight Plant again. Next fight, Garcia Lara versus Garcia. I did manage to watch this one, and it was a boring fight, to be fair. Garcia, like he had the smaller reach, he's a smaller guy, and he was trying to box with Alessandro Lara with that Cuban box your head off start, and he just boxed his head off all night long. And he didn't make any adjustment. It looked like to me that, and obviously the circumstances in the fight, so he's moved up 3 weight divisions to fight a champion straight away, and he's not had a fight, no warm-ups, no nothing, just gone straight into a world title fight, 3 weight divisions above. And then when he got in
Middleweight.
there, he looked like, middleweight. He looked like a slow plodder. He was on the outside, stayed on the outside, wasn't really jabbing, wasn't really doing anything. He was just letting Lara pick him apart all night long. It was just boring. It was just like a one-sided boxing lesson. And he made no adjustments, nothing. And then when he got knocked down to like a jab from the hip, it's like not really turning over the gloves, not really. There was nothing. It wasn't like a crunk jab that snaps your head off. He just and he went down and he quit. He could have carried on. He quit. That's definitely he quit because his dad said.
Do you know what?
The ref came over and goes, "Do you want to carry on?" And he goes, "It's up to him." That's what Angel Fernandez said.
It weren't like fucking Lara was loading up on his shots. He was just kind of popping out the jab, popping out the lead hand straight. And literally, Garcia sort of staggers, sort of ambles, and he looked like he was in treacle the whole fucking night. Just amble. And we know why he was looking like he was in treacle. He's had one fight against, I think it was Jose Benavidez Jr. in 2022, and nothing since 2020. And then he goes up to middleweight against an active champion and that's 5 years older than him, and Garcia looked like the old man, staggers onto the ropes, kind of looking a bit sorry for himself, like something in his eyes to me. He just looked like, beer. It looked like he'd been paid to get in the ring or something. I'd like, if you know what I mean, obviously being paid. He looked like paid just to...
This is one of them fights, where you've had a long time out, and in your mind you think, let's do it. And he had all good intentions, and he's got in the ring, and he's realised, I ain't got it no more.
The body let him down.
His body let him down. You know when fighters, they say a fighter just grows old overnight. Like they lose their fire, they lose their hunger. Like I think he got in the ring and realised, I can't do this no more. I ain't got it anymore. It's not in me. Because even if sometimes you can train, but you need to be mentally, physically switched on. And I just think he wasn't physically there, and he definitely wasn't mentally there, because he wasn't even like just thinking, fuck it, I'll try my hardest, I'll go out swinging, I'll change it. He wasn't trying anything. It was just a heavy bag with eyeballs circling around the ring.
Heavy bag with eyeballs. I like that's the line, Chris. That's the line. If this was a bit... Do you know what? He was apparently, do that as a that'll be a short. Apparently, don't take too much onto this, people. You know, and Chris as well. But I read a little bit around this. Apparently, he didn't do that much sparring for this fight either. So you kind of look at it: the long layoff, the inactivity, the desire seems to have gone. I don't really know what inspired him for this fight, other than if he was getting a big, payday for this fight. I don't know. I don't know what he was getting.
I think he was probably going to get decent money.
Yeah.
I think he probably he was going to get all right money. He's not boxed for 3 years, so he's probably skint. So he's kind of probably desperate for money. And he probably thought that, I can do it. And then realised, I can't do it. Do you know what I mean? I ain't got this no more. Because, I don't know, it just seems all a bit funny. Like, why would you, if you're serious about your career, you're going to have warm-up fights and build up to it, stay active.
Yeah.
But they know this, though. So I just think it was for the money. And if you really think about it, it was just for a payday, and he's got a name.
And the knockdown was weird as well, Chris. Like when he kind of got knocked down with a kind of it didn't come off the back of a combination. So Lara wasn't throwing shot. He just sort of walked him down, closed off the ring, and then fired off a left hand from the hip. But it wasn't kind of loaded up. He didn't kind of swing his hips to get the extra pop in it, did he? He just sort of threw the left hand, sort of hit him. And he sort of went halfway. He almost he went down half, and then he looked around and then went down completely. And then he's smiling, and then goes back to the ring, and they sort of his corner called it off. And you just think, mate, that was
I just like to say they didn't call it off. He quit because they came over and they said, "Is he all right? Does he want to carry on?" And then his dad, the head coach, said, "It's up to him. It's up to him." And then and they asked him, and he said, "No, I don't want to carry on." Because in his mind, he's thinking,
you're right.
I've done enough rounds to get paid. So I'll go home now.
Yeah, this was a great guy at light welterweight and welterweight. You know, known for having a great chin.
He knocked out
You know,
two-time
world
Keith
champion.
Thurman.
He only lost, the guys he lost to, right? Lara, Errol Spence, Showtime,
Keith
Sean
Thurman.
Porter, and Keith Thurman, right? That's no shame in
No
that.
shame.
But that performance, and as a fan, right, and you're a hardcore fan as well, Chris. Seeing that performance with some of the things surrounding it does harm your legacy, because the optics don't lie. And you see that, and you just think, all right, maybe it doesn't tarnish his career, but it's like, why go? Because he's got to retire after that. I mean, there ain't no coming back from that, Chris, is there? I don't think. But
no, and maybe
it's a bit of a sorry way to go out.
It's a sad thing about boxing sometimes. Some boxers fight on longer than they have to for the money, because they've not managed all that money that they've earned. Well, it's quite sad. But anyway, let's move on to main events. Canelo versus Berlanga. I don't know.
Where do we start?
You want to start first?
Well, what I was going to do, Chris, I've written some, me being me, typically. I've kind of I've written it down. I've kind of made like several points, and then, we've swapped screens. That's okay. That's fine. That's no problem. And then if there's anything in there that I might have missed, because he said this is kind of a brief look at his recent career a little bit and his overall career. And if I've missed some bits out, Chris, come in. Or no, for Canelo, when I'm going to start ranting about Canelo a little bit.
I think what we'll do, we'll do the fight first, and then we'll do that afterwards.
Yeah. So
yeah.
So my initial points on the fight were, and I'm trying to muster some enthusiasm, because I like to come into these shows, Chris, with some energy like you do.
You know.
Without wanting to sound arrogant or anything, I'm not pretending that I know all there is to. I certainly don't know all there is to know about boxing, but what happened is exactly what I thought would happen. And it's just another one of those. He drops Berlanga, what is it, in the third round, I think it was. Berlanga looks frustrated, and then I think he thought, I don't want to fucking become an internet meme. I'm not going to get starched out on the floor, or, I don't want that screenshotted. I'm just going to now go into my shell a little bit, and kind of, then I can have that string to my bow that I've gone 12 rounds with my fucking hero, which, by the way, is his hero, because I think he said it in an interview after the fight. And I just
said it all the time.
Yeah, and look, he was game. His jabs are decent, and he had a little bit of a go here and there. But I don't think Canelo was ever terribly troubled, Chris. And it was just
never.
He just laboured to another unanimous decision, Chris, didn't he?
Yeah, I've got to agree with you, Andrew. Exactly the same. What we said was going to happen. Why no one was excited about this fight, no one cared about this fight, is because we knew that this is what was going to happen, and everyone's bored of it. On Berlanga's point, he was in. It's like he was a sparring partner. No, not sparring partner. It was like he was a journeyman, just like making it difficult and giving Canelo some rounds. Like, that's what it looked like. It's like what we was watching when you got a tough journeyman who doesn't get knocked out and just goes rounds when you need rounds. It was just, and I know he's a young guy, but he really needed to have a go. He showed Canelo too much respect, and the best round for him with the whole fight is when Canelo thought the round was over and he went and banged him in the face. But even then, too much respect. Round. Yeah, too much respect. So protect yourself at all times. You've hit him. You should have. Don't stop punching, because you've caught him by surprise. He hit him once, he missed with the right hand, and then he started going Generation X. It's like, what are you doing that for? You just got him at a disadvantage, and it's like you hit him, and then it's like, see, I hit you. It's like you show him too much respect. As soon as you hit him, as soon as Canelo realised that like, oh my God, the round's not over. It's like you shit your pants, took a step back and started doing that. When you had him at an advantage, you know?
Yeah,
You had an
I
advantage and
think
you just
that
bottled it.
I'll try and give Berlanga some credit. I do think he showed heart. I do think he showed something. He does, because he's still quite raw. I think he showed a little bit to me that he's kind of working on some things, and he's obviously, you could see there was a massive level gap, but
Yeah.
it was just what you said, and you beat me to it. I was going to make that point, and you beat me to it. It was like he showed him too much respect. It was almost like, you know, like one of these charity football matches where you're playing against the legends, and you don't want to dive into the tackle against, like, I don't know, Maldini or Paul Scholes or Giggs, because you're like, oh, he's a legend. I can't break his legs in a tackle. I better sort of go 50%. It was almost, I don't know,
like
it
that.
was a little bit like that. A little,
Like,
just a little bit.
Yeah, it's just like, he had no problem, like, talking in Spanish to him, disrespecting him, but he didn't do anything. Like Canelo just absolutely made him look like he threw a headbutt. Canelo just banged him straight after the bell. I was like, it's just like,
I'll get on to this in the points after, but it was a
showed him
product.
too much respect. And he was like, if you're gonna have your hands low, you're doing that so you can throw the jab from all different angles, and he just didn't do it. He just stood there and he kept trying to counterpunch Canelo. You can't counterpunch a great counterpuncher. You know, it's like you're standing on the outside, even though you've got the bigger reach. You're not even throwing. You're letting him throw, and you're letting him get off first. Every time you let Canelo get off first, try to counterpunch him and then got countered himself. It's just like it was levels. It was just levels.
To beat, we know that he's hard to beat because he doesn't rub. But obviously, Father Time is undefeated, but he doesn't really have any weaknesses. I think he's slowing down. His punch output was decent in this fight, actually, because in a few previous fights, his punch output looked a little. I was thinking, but his punch output was all right. But he doesn't have any glaring faults, Chris Canelo. He must be quite difficult when you're sitting down, analysing what weaknesses you can capitalise on, whatever that may be. Yeah. It's quite difficult because he doesn't really have any glaring faults, and he's got a great chin to go with it. So he's a tough one, especially at super middleweight. He's in and around that. He's a tough cookie to crack. So look, no disrespect to Berlanga at all, but it was just another Canelo fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, boring. Right. So what is